There's no brush tool to paint with images in Photoshop. Well, there is, but it's hidden away in one of the other brushes. And I'm going to show you the brush. Let's just undo this now. This is for PC or Mac. It's really easy to use, and you can use it with a lot of the earlier versions as well. I think most versions have this feature, and it's this one. Just go over here and select the Mixer Brush tool. Now you need to set it up. If you don't set it up correctly, it will not work in the way that you think it should work. Now I can select any part of this image. I'm going to go maybe for this bus. It's in London. Going across the bridge, and you can see a bus zooming across there. I'm going to use that part of the image. I'm just going to use this round brush, just a very basic brush, 367. And you can see now over here, a little image. Well, just click there. And to set this up properly, you need to make certain this is turned off, not checked. If it's checked, it will just use a picker and you'll just get a single color, which is great, but not what you want. So make certain it's not checked. So once you've done that, go to the Alt Option key and you'll get this target. And you can hover over anywhere. You'll see this. It will be any part of the image can be used. But I'm just going to go with down here with this bus and just click. Now it's stored away in here, up here. So it's loaded and now you can use it. And I can just click and you can see it will add this. Now you can also tweak other settings. There's a load of other settings. Personally, what I normally do, I normally go over here and I set the wet down to 0. And every time you change the brush, you might find that the wet goes back to whatever settings, but you might be quite happy with that. Likewise, make certain there's no mix setting there. And also the load is be 100%. It could be less, of course, as well. But also you can obviously go through a few of these other options and you might try and vary those as well using the same approach. But I'm just going to go with what the settings I've got at the moment and flows 100%. And now I can apply it. And I can, of course, select other parts of the image. I can also use other brushes. So if I want to use another brush, I don't want, say, the soft round, I can actually change this. So you can go for hardness, make it really hard, and click like that. And you can see now, instead of that softness around the edge, you've got a very sharp edge there. So you can click there and you can see again, you've got this. Now, if I go to the document again, hold down the Alt Option key, and again, hover over here. Now I can select this. You can still see I'm just about, but I've of course got all these now all in the way. So you can create some quite abstract designs by using this, just by clicking here, and then you can just in the center. And then when you play brush, you see what happens now. You get this sort of cut through this. You can really build up and create some very fragmented, abstract sort of noise, a whole load of different designs just by combining that multiple times. So you can create that and then use that and so on. Hold down the Alt Option key, and I'm going to use that again, just this bus. So all the settings available here. But also what you can do is you can change the brush to something else. But if you select one of these other brushes, and it's slightly annoying the way it does it, because it will put it back to maybe the paintbrush tool, not the mixer brush. There is a difference. So the mixer brush, you can use these images. The normal standard paintbrush, you can't. It'd be nice if it could, but it doesn't. So what you can do, you go over here to the brushes, and I think this makes it slightly easier in this format. Personally, I generally use this, and you can go through all these. And you'll notice that some have got this against it. And here's a brush. So if I selected that one, it would use the paintbrush, which I don't want. But what I want is this one. And I can use this brush. I'm just going to select this one. Now just click here. And now I can see, you get that. That's not exactly what you want. And the reason is, again, you have to go up here. As soon as you do this, apply this, it's gone and given all its settings. It's set everything back to what it thinks should be used. So again, you can hold the Alt Option, and then unfortunately now, see what I mean? You get this picker. You don't want that in this case. If you want the image, you don't need the picker. So if you've got the picker appearing, there is a reason. And the reason is if you go up here, this is checked. Just deselect that. Now it's not checked. If you go over its image again, hold down the Alt Option, and you get this again, this target. And again, you can select there. I'm going to select in the, maybe down here. You can select anywhere on the image, click that. And now you can see you've got your brush is now going to be using this. Again, any time you do it, the image you're using is here. Now, it's a pity there's no preset feature where you could click and drag down and see lots of different ones, previous ones you've used. That would be brilliant. But unfortunately, each time you do it, it's overwritten. So you get what you get. And now you can play your brush and you can see you get this. Now, okay, that doesn't look like a brush. You can just about make out. Initially it was. And that's the problem. Because what it's also doing, you go to brush settings, and you can use the brush settings. You can get rid of some of these things, the texture, transfer. I don't want the transfer because the transfer's got a lot of interesting stuff, but it's not something I really want to use. You've got flow jitter, various wetness jitter, etc. Mixer. Don't want that. Don't want that. You can see the mix. I want that down to 0. Also, I don't want to use the transfer. Also, I don't want the smoothing, particularly. And shape dynamics, you can use that because size jitter is reuse, and you can then see apply that. Again, it's still not exactly right. What you need to do is go to the next one, brush tips and spacing. And now, when you apply it, you can see what happens. You can just click it like this, but of course, if you apply it like that, just hold the mouse down, that is, you can see you get multiple copies of that brush. It doesn't look as great with this new brush. I personally prefer the soft round, but I wanted to show you can use other brushes to create some interesting effects. And you can also increase the size of that, obviously certain limit. And you can see now you get that effect. I don't think it looks as good personally. That's why personally I prefer this one, which I've used before, soft round, which I think. Now, it's obviously not in a great state now. So let's just go back here and just click here. And now you can see I can play again. You just have to refresh it. Every time you change a brush, it does seem to corrupt itself, get a bit confused. Still got it in the resolution that it's working with before. Okay, well, what you can also do, you got this image. Maybe you got this, there's a wall or something, and you want to repeat obviously the bricks or something. And this is what I mean. Obviously, you're using a brush here with a bus, but it could be bricks. It could be maybe a scene where lots and lots of people in the crowd. Now, obviously, you don't want to keep clicking everywhere very close to each other because you want some variation. But if you do a pattern or some other sort of features, cloning maybe, it's fiddly. I think this is a great way of, you could rapidly go through, have about 15 images of different things and just click using that to create crowd scenes very quickly, adding brush strokes, but just varying different positions then, unless people happen to be looking at very precisely, oh, that person appears to be over there as well. But if you use that, I think it's a great way of repeating scenes, but with a bit of randomness that you can sort of control. Now let's go and create another image, and I'm just going to quickly create a gradient. So let's just create that. Here's the gradient. The gradient I'm going to use was just one created using gradient tool and blend mode of difference and a few other gradients as well. Okay, once you've got that, do exactly the same as before. Hold down the Alt Option key, as long as you've got the mixer brush tool selected. Not any use using the gradient, but hold down that Alt Option key. It's on the keyboard. And you'll see the target again. Again, like say, you've got to make certain that is turned off. That feature is not on. And then you can there. And now you can see, then you can click with this. And this is using a slightly blurry soft round. Again, if you want, you can always go up here, click here, and set the hardness to say 100%. And then you'll get this. So you can see you get this effect. And you can repeat this obviously multiple times. So you can create this and apply that. Now, one thing you'll notice with the mixer brush, which is very odd, and it's going to be pretty obvious, and you can probably see what I'm going to mention, there is no blending mode feature there. Would be nice. Not certain why. If you go to, let's go to brush tool, you've got blend mode, but not with the mixer brush. And I do not know why, because personally, I think it would be quite a nice feature to be able to blend with the mixer as well. But it doesn't offer that option. Well, there's a way around it, of course, as with all things. All you need to do is go to Layer and New and Layer and click OK. And then, of course, you can apply this. And then you can go to your layers, which, of course, I haven't got available, Window and Layers. And you can go here, Blend Mode, and you can say Difference. So set it to Difference or something else. Don't have to do that. So let's go for something that makes stand out really. Hard Mix. That's a nice one. So Hard Mix, when you apply the brush, now it will be using that blend mode. And of course you can always, because it's a layer, you can delete it at any point. You can also go and apply filter effects. So filter, blur, and Gaussian blur. Obviously, once you've applied it, then obviously any subsequent brush will not have that blur, but you can then combine it with that and so on. You can see the result of this. You can create all kinds of unique ones. And exactly the same as before, brush settings, go to shape dynamics. You've got size jitter, so you can maybe reduce the size, so you can click multiple times and just apply it all over the place. And you can build up a very abstract design from that earlier gradient, which is still stored here. And you can, of course, use this design to then, again, hold down the Alt or Option key and select another area if you want to do that. But you can build up and create all kinds of amazing designs and scatter as well. So you can click here and create a random filled image very rapidly with this brush stroke. Hope you found this of interest. Any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Always great to hear from you with, like I say, comments and thoughts, but also please subscribe because I'm always adding videos all the time as well. And a like or dislike is always appreciated as well.